feel a little bit like we're our own. Today we're talking about what it means to be a unicorn.
Yeah, I know. And so many of us have unicorns. But first, we'll talk about my haircut, as I mentioned to you.
Yes, let's definitely talk about your haircut, please.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so tell our crew what just happened to you today.
I know. So I don't get my hair cut often, and because I just am lazy actually. And when I do get my hair cut, I don't love it that they straighten it because I never wear it straight, and I had it straight phase. Like, I spent 2 years getting keratin treatment thinking, yeah, straight hair's the way to go. But, I've grown out of that and I really appreciate my curls. Yet I go to the hairdresser. She's lovely. She cuts too much off. And then she's like, oh, can we just straighten it, please? I really want to see how it's sitting. And I'm like, I never wear it straight. And she's, oh, we'll just do it. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I said to her, this is the one and only time my hair will be straight is when I leave the salon. And then sure enough, she cuts too much off. She straightens my hair. I get Ally McBeal vibes. And I'm like, and it's going to be shorter when it's not straight. Because
I would like you to all, for those of you that are younger than 30 that are listening today, I would like you to Google Ally McBeal and you will laugh.
Do you think that we've got an audience younger than 30?
I mean, probably not the majority, but there are going to be some. I think we're pretty amazing to all of the people. So yeah, they're going to jump on and want to hear our fucking stories about our hair because that's part of the problem.
Older lady wisdom, our older lady. And so maybe it's just me.
Who has not gone? I don't care how old you are, who has not gone. And fortunately I love my stylist. And so we don't have this issue. In fact, she probably makes fun of me because I'm like, can you please cut this much off? Like a fingernail? Like, I'm like, just keep it long and just cut a little bit. She's like, okay. I mean, I'm like the stupidest, easiest person she cuts, but who hasn't gone in and asked for what they thought they were getting and then walked away being like, oh my God, this is not at all what I was looking for.
I know.
It says everybody, no matter what age they are, that's a universal belief about going to your stylist, right?
Yeah, I know. And how much do you get charged for the pleasure? Actually, how much does it cost you to get your haircut?
Gosh. Well, I mean, I think mine is probably a deal in that it's like $125 because I don't get any color. But if I got color, not only are you spending like a day there, but that could be upwards of like $400.
Shit, that's a lot.
For color and a cut.
Yeah, it cost me $95, and it's. It is what it is, right? Although I did get the last time I got my hair cut was in the UK, and she was this lovely girl in this Hitchin hairdressing salon, and she was like 22, and she charged me like £20, and I'm like, that is a good price.
And £20 would be
40 New Zealand dollars.
Google it, Jess.
Yeah, exactly. Google that shit, Jess. I'm not some sort of like currency calculator.
Love you for that. Mikki always gets on my fucking case because I have to Google shit. Sometimes I just want to ask me. I like to ask questions. I like to actually ask you questions. It's fun.
I know. Whereas I like to know. I'm like, I'll just Google that because, I don't
Google's
know.
a little bit like ChatGPT or like AI. Yeah. It's like sort of gives you like the answer you're looking for, but nothing quite like the source.
Oh yeah, no, it's so true. Albeit, because we've had this conversation, so we won't labor the point. But if you're asking someone something you could Google yourself, knowing that they'll probably have to Google it in order to tell you what the answer is, Google that shit. Anyway, I was having
end of story. That is it, because we all know and we've all been there, right?
Yeah.
But it is amazing. It's amazing how quick that could be for people, and it's also amazing how little people want to actually read or dig deeper into why they're not looking in the first place. Also, just read a few sentences. You'd be surprised what you'll find if you just pause and like finish the paragraph, right?
Oh, 100%.
I think your hair looks great. P.S. I definitely love it, like Mikki run blown look where you just like, get back from a run. But I also kind of think it's very cute, straight for a change. And your hair looks very thick and healthy and not falling out. Not that it would, but I'm feeling sensitive about that because I think I'm just low on all the things that I need to be eating to like keep my hair looking fresh.
Well, it's interesting because I think your hair's lovely and so lovely and long. And I think a few things. One, yes, you need to get your iron checked. Any woman out there who hasn't had their iron checked lately, who is still menstruating and who is who is like losing their hair, or not maybe losing their hair, but you know,
but just feels
noticing
not
extra.
quite as full, you know,
Yeah,
and that's how
get your
it's been
iron checked.
feeling.
I mean, there's a
Okay.
lot of things to get checked, but get your iron checked.
Mm-hmm.
And second of all, it's not uncommon this time of year. And I wonder if it's a shift in season, like, because that's one of the reasons why I got my hair cut. I was like, oh, I keep noticing it. Like I'm more of it's ending up in the drain. I'm like, I need to actually have a refresh, need to get rid of a bit of it. And maybe that's probably what you need, is a bit of a refresh. And it's very common. Like, I was having a conversation with someone else who has luscious locks, just like yours. And she is a blonde beauty, and she's like, oh, my hair, this perimenopause thing. So, you know, and she's your neck of the woods. So
maybe we always like to perhaps invite you all in into, maybe it's not just like your hormones, thyroid, or something. Maybe it's just as simple as going to get a cut, and maybe just ask that, that they don't cut too much off.
And they don't straighten it and give you the 90s
and that they don't
vibes.
straighten it. Sometimes just like a little visit and just a refresh will feel good. So you'll see me next week. I'll make an appointment. Actually, in my case, I'll probably make an appointment and have to wait a couple months, but I should at least make the appointment, but it'll get done. And maybe you're right. I'll feel better, because there is something that feels not great about that. I was thinking about, well, first, you're right. Our conversations always, they actually did start with hair. And you're like, look at my Ally McBeal hair. And then I was like, look at like my hair, like not hair. But really I had this epiphany, and I thought that it was appropriate to talk about it. But I love to think about personality types in two categories. One are the yes people, like kind of like, yeah, let's do it. And I should say they're yes, and they follow through and they figure it out. I'm not talking about the yes and the flaky people. I'm talking about the yes, like, yes, like that sounds great. I'm going to figure out a way to do it, versus like the people who are like, no, and they're saying no because in that moment they can't figure it out. And I just thought that was kind of interesting, because I think that comes up a lot in just how we operate, just even in like our health, like what we're resistant to. And I think sometimes you can fall in those two categories. I think if you're more of a yes person, we'll figure it out. You're going to be more receptive to like, tell me about a nutrition plan, or tell me about a workout, or just tell me about maybe kind of some kind of the thing that you're wondering about. And I think it's important to like kind of examine what kind of person you are. I know I'm keeping it really simple, but Mikki and I actually like to keep things like relative. There's so much information overload. We like to talk about things like, I think, in like the least amount of stuff, just kind of, we're like the unfiltered version of that. But do you kind of know what I'm saying? You know, when you think about it that way?
And I will clarify, you like to keep it simple. I like to complicate things, which is fine, which is why
in some ways, right? In some ways, maybe emotionally, I like to complicate things, you know?
Oh, that's true. And then I'm like, no, Jess, this is what it is. I know you're right. It is. It's a reversal. But you explained that really well. And it's the difference between a growth and a fixed mindset, I think.
Yeah,
I think this is what we can apply it to. And it absolutely applies to diet and exercise. So, for example, anyone jumping on my Mondays Matter plan for the very first time has to have a growth mindset, because they are doing things differently from how they've done them in the past. And you have to be prepared in anything that you do to not be an expert from the get-go. Like, be prepared to fail a little bit, but then learn from it. Whereas people with a fixed mindset will look at the plan, and then I'll get an email 24 to 48 hours going, I looked at the plan, it's not for me. I'm like, you came to me as a 48-year-old perimenopausal woman. You've got 3 kids, you've got a career, you've got a husband, you've got these relationship complexities in your life. You want to lose weight to feel good, and you're saying this plan isn't for you. I think that's saying more about your mindset, your fixed mindset, rather than you're seeing an opportunity for actual change. And so that just sort of popped into my head, because don't get many of them, but I know immediately when I see that from someone that they just do not have it in them to take that step, and no judgment, you know, like.
So what do you say to that person to encourage? Because obviously we're not going to go from like, a fixed versus a what's the opposite of that? Abundant. What was growth, right?
Yeah.
So if we're so what's your response? What do you say to the perimenopausal 48-year-old who's like wants to lose weight and is feeling uncomfortable just kind of as things are, not only just in weight loss, but just in everything, just feels off and is busy and looks at the plan and says, it's just not for me. What's your response to that?
Honestly, it depends on my mood. Sometimes I'm like, yeah,
did you have a Coca-Cola and a run?
Yeah. So basically I'm like, I forward it to Cam and I'm like, Cam, here you go. Because he's the one that deals with those things and then he will sort it out for that. Or sometimes if I have had comms with this person and I can feel that they're wobbly, but they're not fixed, then I go in and go, well, hey, look, here are a couple of different options for you to dip your toes in to see how you go. And the plan has those options anyway. But sometimes, Jess, it's actually, I'm just going to say it, not worth my effort. Because if I have to coach this one person in a group of 500 and I'm like, it is not worth that to me. Like you need convincing, this is not my job. You don't need me to convince you. There are several thousand people who have successfully done this program and you need to buy into it. It's not my job and it really does. And that's a little bit of I'm just like, have reached that point where it's not like I don't want to help them, but it's like, I don't think that you can. Like, I don't have the time to coach one individual to do that. Did that sound harsh?
No, I don't think I don't think that it's harsh. I always like to think about it like a little differently in that, we don't have time to do just a bunch of one-offs. Like you either kind of have to be open enough to try it. And if you've tried it and, I always say I'm not the right fit for you, this isn't the right person, then I'm free to let you fly and go do what it is that you need to do. So try it. I always think that's like I always like to also think, what are some questions that we can, in those moments, like we can just ask ourselves, that particular client, me, you, like when I'm finding myself just going, yeesh, you know what I mean, into a certain area, what am I, how am I talking to myself? What is the communication? What am I, how do I kind of get myself out of that fixed place and quite frankly more into that growth place? Because we're all, newsflash, happier when we're not stuck in fixed places. And you should know that Mikki and I, we were chatting, you and I were chatting earlier, and we were both chatting about like, schedules, right? Like, and how we like to engage. And you were, even saying like, oh my God, looking at if I look at like, both of our Google calendars, I am used to seeing like a lot on a day. For you, you're like, oh, hell no. Like if I see that much on my day, I'm going to lose my mind. Right.
Yeah.
So it's kind of also important to like note what works for you, but also like, why does this like have this kind of effect on me, and kind of what is that saying about me? How can I kind of like deep dive? Just the questions we ask ourselves. I'm like kind of here for like, I like to question myself a little bit more.
I love it. And to that earlier point that you and I were talking about, like you don't need me on your schedule to know that you can reach out to me.
Yes, and that's for sure.
And I think that's
right.
The thing. Like we've got people in our lives that it doesn't matter if I've got like, I only have a few friend like engagements every week, but if I have more, and it doesn't matter who it is, I do start to feel overwhelmed. However, it doesn't mean that I'm not there for you if you need me. It just means that I'm definitely in your calendar on this particular date, and otherwise let's touch base. And it's almost like I wonder if it's a little bit like, then it's that boundary thing again. It's like, okay, I've set my own diary. I'm not a prison to someone else's schedule, and I can, on my own terms, and then I show up in a way that I want, rather than, I have to be at my computer at 3:00 on a Wednesday, and actually I want to be in my home gym doing kettlebell swings.
Well, I mean, I can't disagree with that fact. I always think about the questions I ask myself, even in whether it's like a nutrition plan that feels scary because it's not the way I normally do things, or a strength plan, or even just a new experience or relationship or person. But I always think like, what can I kind of can this evolve? Can I become less fixed and more growth by this relationship? You know what I mean? Like people are such an amazing growth opportunity for me. And believe you me, they're not all for me, but the ones that are, I mean, obviously you are to me, like just a massive growth opportunity.
No,
So
I get it.
Right. So I really see people and experiences and relationships to that as like, this is massive. So somehow I need to continue to keep communicating, keep questioning, and hopefully in turn, even if we're different, because clearly, we have our own things, but that exchange can kind of put me into a deeper place of growth. And so that is where I just think there's tremendous value in opening yourself up a little bit to thinking about these things differently. And it's amazing when you do, because you do get a cortisol release and you get a serotonin uptick, and things do feel better. Certainly for our relationship. And I always say this when I'm on here, it's why we do this, but I hope people can feel the energy, because I want people to have people in their life where you feel like when you're with them, that it's not perfect, but that there is growth. Like you can ask questions and be curious and figure things out a little bit. Like, I'm just happy, I asked him, like, do you like just having, like, does it stress you out to see a lot in one thing? And it does, it turns out. It does stress you out to see a lot of appointments on one. And that's good to know. I feel better about it,
Which is great. And it's funny about that, people who allow you to grow and people who sort of keep you fixed. And I think as well is there are people in your life who sort of come in and come out. And my example is and this is sort of related, but not really, it's just a relationship thing.
Sure.
Like one of my other weekly engagements that has sort of just kicked off late last year and has become a firm favorite is Tuesday morning coffee with my friends Nikki and Mandy. And Nikki and I, we've had a solid friendship since 2011 or something. And Mandy was also like, we were solidly friends, and then she moved to Wellington, and now she's back in Auckland for work. And she just reached out late last year and said, anyone around for like coffee or dinner or whatever. She's very good at that. And it just so happened that her work at the place that she stays, she gets free access to the gym if I'm in the city to go to the gym. And so now every Tuesday I commit to going to that gym, which is great because it's expensive and I don't want to give it up. So I'm like, okay, now I'm actually using it, which is great. And we get just half hour. So it's a very good short time period. And we get so much, all three of us say we get so much out of it. And in part we sit there and we're like, today we talked about the race that I did. We talked about dry fasting and its potential metabolic benefits. Super fascinating, by the way.
Oh my God, dry fasting. That sounds so interesting. What the hell is that? Okay, finish so your conversation included dry fasting, it included your race, and it included probably some other, X-rated things you can't talk about.
No, we don't. Well, I mean, if we did go there, I wouldn't tell you about it. Well, I might actually.
Maybe you would after. This is the after show.
Yeah, it might be. But also, Mandy's like, I love how 30 minutes of you two enriches my life. From Zing Zing, she now follows the one-armed monkey that I've become obsessed with.
The one-armed monkey.
Oh my God, so cute. And she's like, now I'm listening to a podcast about dry fasting. Like these are the and isn't that great? Like,
and she listens to us too. I think you said she was one of the ones that loves us too.
I know.
I can't wait to meet her.
You will love her. She is just such a people person. We'll come to San Fran and visit you.
I can't
She'd be totally up for that. She loves.
Good.
She loves all things adventurous.
This is just very important. But one thing you said that's part of that, like non-fixed thing that I think people can continue to benefit from, put things on your calendar, otherwise known as a diary. Yesterday, Mikki was texting me and she put diary, and I was like, what the fuck? What's that? Because in my world, diary has always been like something that I've like kept to write,
dear diary,
like deep, dark emotions about myself.
Yeah.
And in a diary. But it turns out in your verbiage, it is actually your schedule.
Yeah, it is. It is my schedule. Yeah.
But I think putting things into your diary, into your calendar, and just having them routinely there, because because what it does is again, this goes back to changing the habit. I think you and I did a podcast, show a few weeks back on the importance of a pen and paper. I will add to that in order to like change your habits. I think, from a fixed to, why can I not remember that? Fixed, open, what was growth?
Fixed to growth.
Fixed to growth, same thing, changing that habit. It's just having that thing on the calendar, on the schedule, because that even whatever's happening, it will, I'd like to see more growth in my calendar. And so that's it goes exactly back to that sort of, I'm a yes person and I'll figure things out, or I'm an automatic no, and I just don't even know how I'd figure it out. So I'm going to excuse it. I think it's deeper than just a boundary. I think if you want, if you sort of see that there's opportunity for growth with this person, stick them on your calendar is the point. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Stick them on your calendar, find ways in your life to just calendar that shouldn't, even if it's not a in-person visit, it's a phone call. Cause I really think all y'all need to pick up your phone. It feels real good. Or just this, we're lucky to do what we do, but I think it is like absolutely like critical to your health, because we're not meant to be isolated. But just think about think about your calendar when you wake up and you're looking at it. How many growth opportunities are on there? Just put them on.
No,
right?
I know. And that's how my calendar feels now. And maybe that's why, because it's either obligation or growth. And I have a few growth things which I always look forward to. But do you know what? This is what I notice as I get older. I make less room for because you always have the things you really want to do as well. And so I know for me that, no, that's my time that I know Barry and I just hang out and chill out. And I don't want to interrupt that with anything or any person. And I feel like as you get older, you're less like your friend group almost does. Like I've got a lot of friendly acquaintances and periphery friends and people I would call friends, but your solid weekly friends, few. Like not many people have a lot of time for them. But to your point, make time for the people that bring you joy and make you feel like you get something. Not I've gotten something from that, but actually, it's not an energy suck to be around them. Yeah, that's
so
important.
that I mean, and that based upon how you feel. So I think and I think in that case, it's just good to ask the question. Right? Like, what is it about that feels triggering? If we could remove this, would this feel better? Right?
Yeah.
So I would just encourage us all, when we're immediately thinking, nope, maybe just ask real quick, why? Why is it an automatic no? You know what I mean? Or whatever.
Yeah.
If you are working toward having a little bit, you will feel better. It's an exercise in health. All of these roads lead up. It is a true exercise in health. And it's also a true exercise in vulnerability and a little bit of intimacy. Because I think that when you can have conversations like this, just simply by asking questions, I think there's only an upside.
I agree.
It's only going to encourage you to grow.
So one last thing, Jess, before we sign off. Your favorite dish, I think one of your favorite dishes, like
shrimp.
on the food front, is called shrimp saganaki.
I mean, that just sounded like amazing. Say it again.
Shrimp saganaki. It is a Greek dish. It's tomatoes, it's parsley, it's olive oil, it's onions, it's shrimp, and then a little bit of like Parmesan cheese on top. Doesn't that sound delicious? I
mean, Mikki, you're absolutely, it's dinner time. That's not what I'm going to have for dinner. I'm wishing that I was going to eat that, because like my mouth is drawn. Like literally, that's like the best thing that could happen to me right now is that dish. Maybe we can add that into the like podcast notes. How to elevate yourself from a fixed to a growth mindset, and how to make shrimp
saganaki.
Which sounds like a dish I might get at a sushi restaurant. So I sort of like it that it's kind of has like Greeky vibes to it, not just like, but Saganaki. I am like 200%. I can't wait till one of our podcasts is actually going to be like a cooking episode where we're like in the kitchen together.
Oh, that'll be amazing.
I mean,
that
right? I mean,
would
actually, you should all know that I'm terrible in the kitchen, but I'm great. But I'm also great in the kitchen because I just get so excited and I love it. And we're going to make shrimp saganaki. It's going to be amazing.
Equally, if we were in Greece getting served shrimp saganaki, like that would be an episode. God. That would be amazing.
I'm also right now just thinking about us in Greece. We could take our show to Greece. Special week with Mikki and Jess, Strength Renewed in Greece. Now that's like something to think about right away. Like I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, how do I make that work? Because that sounds incredible. And seriously though, people, I honestly like this, the more that I think about it, I got prompted to talk about this because I have a few people in my life that do this so deliciously well. You know what I mean? And when I want to say this, by saying, that sounds great, Jess, right? Like it allows, I feel very seen by that person, even if what we're saying yes to changes, it's, you know, a little bit. And that I feel sort of like, this is what you'd want to have at a dinner. I feel very much like shrimp sabanaki. Like, I feel like, yes, you want to eat me, see me, love me up. Like it's a nice feeling. And the same is what I continue to go back to our relationship is that I think this is a powerful place for us because other people can feel seen because I feel seen by you.
Yeah,
but
amazing.
that's what the people in my life that do that. That's what I think I'm getting from them is I'm getting an opportunity to think in a more growth minded way. And I'm also getting an opportunity to feel really seen. And that is exceptional.
And, you know, Jess, maybe what we need to do is do a Strength Renewed tour to Greece, the same way that Maria Emmerich, which is where I got the recipe from, which is going to be in the show notes. And I've just forwarded it through to Baz. And then we just invite a bunch of amazing people and they can come and join us on a Greek retreat. Wouldn't that be amazing?
Well, I mean, like I said, I love all of the directions, all of the openness, all of the growth that these conversations get us to. And I always have my own, you guys, my own pen and paper, my own way to kind of continue to grow and like change my habits and just sort of evolve. Yeah. Because the name of the game is like evolve, be seen, communicate, ask questions. This is all really part of that. But damn, I want to eat that meal. Why I'm feeling all these feels. All the good feels. Why I'm eating all the good things.
I know. What more could you want?
Hello. Mix, what are you grateful for today?
I'm really grateful that you and I had our conversation about what feels good in terms of connecting, actually. I'm really grateful for that. And I'm grateful that now my hair feels like it's a bit healthier. It'll grow a bit longer. And I'm grateful that it's only straight for one day. What are you grateful for?
Oh my gosh. I actually feel the exact same way. I'm grateful to have the conversations, you know, that we had about, you know, connecting and kind of what continues to work. Cause I just think that it's the ultimate and like, you know, love. It's like my true love language. You know what I mean? It's like, this works for you. Great. Like, how do we make it like work better? Because when you care about somebody and you care about a relationship, it's like, you just want to keep on, you know, evolving it. You want to keep on making it better. Yeah. So I'm grateful for it. Also makes me think a lot about growth and fixed mindsets and how it relates to everything, frankly. And I'm super freaking excited about our Greek tour that now I'm going to be saying yes to and shrimp sabanaki, because again, let's all not forget I'm Jewish and most things like go back to food.
Yeah. Oh, no, I love that.
So it's really all about my relationships, human connectivity, and what I'm going to eat in the next meal in Greece.
Yeah.
I've never been, but I can only imagine a food tour with you would be freaking lights out. So I'm just going to put that there and kind of get excited about it. So it's a lot to be grateful for, but that's my answer.
Yeah. And I'm going to get our friend Mandy onto that. And I told her she needs to be an event organizer.
I know. I feel like I want to jump in on this next coffee date.
Yeah. All right, Jess, you enjoy whatever you are having for dinner.
Shrimp, not sabanaki. I'm going to make shrimp though. I'm like, have to eat it now. I can find something. I'll get like some crushed parsley or something.
Oh, delicious.
I'll do like a California, like, you know, not not grease meal, right?
Oh no, I love it. And then you should show it to me on social.
I mean, I would, nothing makes me happier than taking a picture of my food.
All right, Jess.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.